You often start out with the best of intentions, implementing all these healthy habits all at once, kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall just to see what sticks. Except you don't know why stuff doesn't stick. There's no rhyme or reason. So, how do you figure it out? Well, it just so happens we can troubleshoot our habits in three easy and systematic steps. Before we do, though, I am Coach Mack, the founding health coach of Running with Bacon, where I help women feel like themselves again via fitness, one small step at a time. When you are troubleshooting your habits, it can get really frustrating really quickly if you aren't sure what to look for. So, I do have a few previous videos on what makes up a habit and also how to form habits. So, that might give you some of the foundation to what we're going to talk about today for troubleshooting those healthy habits that just aren't sticking. The first step, the first thing that we do, remember there are three steps. So the first one that we do is determine, can we actually do the habit that we want to do? So one of the things about starting new habits is that we want to start small because small is easy. So we have to reevaluate, can I actually do the thing? Do I have the physical ability to do the thing? Because obviously, if you can't, no wonder the habit's not sticking, right? So then you need to figure out, can I break it down into a smaller step? How can I make this easier so that I have more ability to do the thing? Now, I will say with the ability to do the thing, I am not referring to your best day ever with ideal conditions, perfect scenarios, everything goes right. What I'm talking about, your ability to do something, I mean on the worst day, the most stressful, the busiest, the most hectic, the days when things are so out of whack, can you still do the thing? Is it that simple or that easy or takes that little time? Can you do the thing even when you have no motivation, no desire, no willpower, none of that? Will you still do the thing? Because if not, I encourage you to see again, can you break it down into a smaller step, into something easier? Because we're trying to build the habit. That means we have to do it over and over and over, whether it's a habit that you want to do multiple times per day or something that you want to do day after day after day. The habit has to repeat itself. You are not always going to want to do the thing. If you did, you'd already be doing it. So figure out, can I do the thing? Can I do the habit on my worst days, on the days when I just don't want to? Can I still do it? Do I still have the ability to do it? And if the answer is yes, then you head to step two. Step two of troubleshooting your habits is, do you have a sufficient prompt? If you'll recall, again, I have a previous video on there are three parts of a habit. There is the prompt, there's the habit itself, and then there's the result. In our case, we want it to be a reward. But so for step two, we are talking about the very first part, the prompt. Is there something that is actually cueing you to do the habit that you are trying to do? Because if there's not, again, duh, it's not happening because you're not being reminded to. There's nothing saying, hey, brain, do this habit that we talked about. So you have to set up some kind of prompt or reminder or alarm, something to remind you to do the habit until it becomes routine, until it becomes habitual, like second nature, and you just do it without even needing a reminder. In order to get to that point, we need a sufficient prompt. One of my favorite ways to have this prompt is by habit stacking. More on that in another video, but the gist of it is you take a habit that you want to do and stack it on top of a habit that you already do, that's already habitual, already routine. And that habit that you already do serves as the prompt for the new habit. So your reminder is already in place. It's already part of your routine. And if you aren't interested in habit stacking, that's okay. There are other ways to set a prompt. Number one being set an alarm on your phone. I know alarms, they are alarming. That's why they're called alarms. But you can set alarms throughout your day to remind you to do certain habits. If you don't want those alarms going off all day on your phone, you can also use, I have an iPhone. You can use the reminders app. I'm not sure what it is on Androids. I'm assuming there's something similar, but you can actually schedule in your reminders to give you little notifications on your phone. So it's not as aggressive as a reminder, but you can have it set up to give you notifications on your phone to do something as a reminder. For some things, you might just need a little bit of a nudge. Other things, you might need a full-blown alarm. It is up to you to determine what that is. If you are trying to cut down on tech and want some other types of prompts or reminders, my personal favorite is in the form of a Post-it. Super low tech, but also really simple. I'll give you a perfect example. If every morning before you sit down for work, you want to stretch for 5 minutes before you even start working, a perfect opportunity is to put a Post-it on your laptop the night before, so that then when you come to your desk, you see the laptop or you see the Post-it right on the laptop before you even get started. And that is your prompt to do the habit, to stretch for 5 minutes. There are all kinds of little Post-it love notes you can leave yourself as reminders. Again, very low tech, but another opportunity to make it an effective prompt. The last thing I want to make sure I mention about a prompt is, I've mentioned it previously here, that it needs to be sufficient. It needs to be effective. It has to actually grab your attention and remind you to do the thing. So just saying at 10 a.m., I'm going to do the thing, how many times does 10 a.m. just get away from you and fly past you without you even realizing it? You look up and you're like, oh, it's lunchtime. It happens to me all the time. So a specific time on the clock is not a sufficient prompt. It's not an effective prompt. It will not get your attention. So whatever your prompt is, it needs to actually get your brain's attention and remind you to do the thing. So we have step 1. Can you do the thing? Evaluate your ability to do the habit that you want to do. Step 2 is to make sure that you have a sufficient prompt. It'll actually get your attention to do the thing. And if both of those are effective, both of those are in place, you can do the thing and you do have a sufficient prompt, then step 3 is the final step in troubleshooting your habits. Do you actually want to do the habit? Not can you do it, not is there a reminder, but do you actually want to do it? And I see this often with my clients, that we feel like we are supposed to do something. We feel like we are supposed to do this because it's good for us. People say like a morning routine or journaling or washing your face or insert other healthy thing that the media or some Instagram influencer has told you, you should be doing this for maximizing your day or best health ever. You need to be doing these things. Well, if you don't actually want to do the thing, if you don't actually have a desire to do the thing, it is going to be really difficult to implement a habit around that thing. And before you say, Coach Mack, I hate working out. Of course I don't want to work out, but I want all the good stuff that comes from working out, so I want to start a working out habit. That's different. So when I say, do you want to do the thing? It's not necessarily, do you want to do this crazy hard HIIT workout? It's, do you want that habit in your life or the downstream effects of that habit in your life? So if I ask you, do you want to brush your teeth? It's kind of just whatever, indifferent, but do you want a healthy mouth and clean teeth and like to feel, I hate that little scummy feeling on my teeth. So I actually do want to brush my teeth because I want to avoid that effect. But I'm indifferent to actually doing the physical act of brushing my teeth. I don't jump out of bed like super excited to brush them. So it's the same thing with a lot of our health related stuff. We don't jump out of bed being like, let's go take vitamins, yeah. No, it doesn't work that way, but we do want the downstream effect of taking vitamins. So we set up a habit to take the vitamins. However, those things like that I mentioned, those shoulds that we should be doing, like, again, journaling, washing your face, a morning routine or a nighttime routine or meditating or insert the thing that just feels like it's one more thing on your to-do list. If you don't actually want to do that, it's gonna be really hard to build that habit. And I know you don't actually need my permission, but let me just make sure you know it's okay if you don't want to do the thing. It's okay if you don't want to journal for 5 minutes every day. It's okay if you don't want to meditate for 20 minutes every day. It's okay if you don't want to wash your face every day. You don't need permission to not do these things. But if you are trying to implement these habits and you don't actually want them or the effects of them, it is going to be really challenging. So now you know the systematic way to troubleshoot your habits that just aren't sticking. You evaluate your ability to do the thing. You evaluate a prompt or a reminder to do the thing, an effective one. And then the third thing, if both of those are in place and set and good to go, the third thing is evaluate, do I actually want to do this thing? Do I want this habit? Or do I just feel like I should want to do it? So those are the 3 steps in order to evaluate why your habit is just not working. So once you get those 3 in order, your habit should be golden. And speaking of golden habits, I have a perfect one for you to start if you have been looking to move your body more. It is very easy, so your ability to do it is very high because it is only 5 minutes. There is a built-in prompt because I will email you 5 days in a row and even do 5-minute circuits with you in a video, and it's free. You can sign up. I will put the link in the description box below. Again, super easy to do it. You get a prompt from me. It is free. What are you waiting for? If you want to get moving, sign up, join my free Fit in 5 5-day challenge.